Peace, love, and light and supreme healing, everyone. It has been a very little while, I would say, a little while since I have been on social media. I have been doing a lot and enduring a lot on my own personal challenges, personal battles within myself, staying in the head. So I'm definitely going to be talking a little bit about that on another video, but this video I had to come out, and it's time for preparation, y'all. And it's not just about preparing starting now. We already have to be in that mindset of preparation for what is happening and what is going to unfold in these next coming months. There's a lot of codings that is being sent our way with all of these different names of variants that we are now seeing and witnessing all over the world. I trust that in the space that most of us are in, that we have that understanding that a lot of these are scare tactics, you know, a way for us to be fearful and rush us to do something that we wouldn't normally do, but a lot of us are doing out of fear. So I just want us to have that preparation in mind and already be ahead of the curve and not fall into the trap of fear, how to prepare our bodies, how to prepare our lymphatic defense systems, our respiratory system, all of our eliminative channels of the body so that we can evacuate toxins before the cold weather hits. I'm going to get a little bit into simple anatomy. Why do we get more ill and sicker in the months between September and March? And why is it that in the summertime we have more for protection? So a lot of us may be aware of that. A lot of us may not be. This is just simple anatomy that we're going to be going over. And of course, intertwining iridology all into that so that you know the importance of having your iridology done well before symptoms appear. Not just for yourself, but for your children as well. So your iris can show the stage of health of your lungs, your entire respiratory system, which includes the nasal passages, and the throat and the bronchioles. And then you have your lymphatic. You can tell the stage of health of that also. So the iris is more than just looking at it for pinpointing the weaknesses where, here, and there. It's literally windows into your internal universe. So that, again, you were sent here not to suffer from chronic disease, not to let it go past a specific point. You have the answers well before it begins to deteriorate in that way. So we're going to get into that. I'm going to show you irises of weakened lymphatic or weakened immune systems, weakened defense systems, and how we can prepare ourselves for this coming season. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. Oh, before we get into it, I'm going to need y'all to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 so I can go live one here. Okay, I'm going to also, as I said before, there's a lot of content that I've pre-recorded, and videos will be released on YouTube between Thursday and Friday of every week or every other week. So I definitely want to put that kind of information out so that we have the perspective coming from the iridology aspect, and then all of the different decodings that I have spent countless hours of researching and putting all these different pieces together. But the main important fact is that I want you to have what you need moving forward. All right. So again, like, share, and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram at Holistic Hope. The spelling is at the bottom. If you see it on my name on the screen, Holistic Hope with a W. All right. All right, let's get into it. I'm ready. I took some time to put this together, y'all. All right, so we're gonna let's see from the beginning. Okay. So y'all see the title. You see the title, all right? This new variant or variants that has been mentioned over and over in the news, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you name it, we've all heard of it. And when when I started to read reports and see all that was going on, I said, oh my God, I gotta definitely put something out for the family so that you have a perspective of how to prepare for your health from an iridology viewpoint. So this is going to be fun. This is going to be very informative. So please take notes and please be aware. Please be attentive so that you can take what you need with you. Because again, we're going through some challenging times as we have for the last 3 years. And again, this is not a tactic of fear, which we see that every time we turn on the TV. All right, this is a tactic of preparedness, making sure that you're aware of what's happening on a bigger scale. All right. So new variants, supreme health preparation using iridology. How your iris reveals a weakened defense system before symptoms appear. Okay, so remember, again, you can see the inner workings of your lymphatic, of your respiratory, of your urinary. Everything is revealed in the iris well before you feel an ache or pain, well before you get that cold, well before you get that flu, well before you get pneumonia. All of this is revealed in the iris ahead of time. So if you haven't already, definitely check out my website, holisticalove.com, of all the services I have, which we're going to get into more towards the end. But a lot of you who don't or are not aware of my work, I am a master iridologist. I deal with herbalism as well, spiritual counseling. So that's all on my website. But I want tonight to be focused in on supreme health preparation using iridology as a tool. Okay, again, iris reveals a weakened defense system before symptoms appear. So we have to take advantage of. I mean, this is the perfect time that we're living in. We have so many tools, yet we're still scrambling. Yet we're still trying to figure out what should we do. You know, and the best thing I would say, because the thing is, when we're scrolling on Instagram, we're scrolling on Twitter, we're scrolling on Facebook, we are inundated with so much information. So we have to be very careful not to be overwhelmed and over informationalized. I just made up a word. So you want to use your own discernment and do your due diligence on your own research of what is best for you and your family during this time. All right, especially when it comes to foods, when it comes to different other ways for preparedness, when it comes to health on a physical, emotional, and mental level. Okay, so that's very important. So we're going to jump right into it. All right, you know, I have to give a disclaimer, as I did in one of my other videos that I did sort of similar to this. That was about 3 years ago when the pandemic first kicked off. But we're going to get into other information as well. I don't want to just skip to it. You know, I almost, said something. So let me just read the disclaimer and we're going to get right into it, family. Please be advised the presentation that is being presented is strictly for educational purposes. The information provided is not to be misconstrued for treatment of any diseases. The content of this information is to prepare you for yet another scare tactic to take you away from ascension. I encourage everyone listening to the information to do your due diligence and research as well, so that you may come into an awareness for yourselves. I hope this information finds you in time to protect yourself in this time of silent warfare. May we all be protected. All right. So I got to put that out there, so you guys know that this information is for you to awaken you, to prepare you, so that you're not falling into that fear state. The more we are in fear, the less we are able to ascend to what we are called here for. Everyone has a calling, but many of us do not answer that phone. And so in order for us to maintain and find in tune or finally in tune ourselves, we must not engage or be disempowered by what is called fear. And that's through constant programming. You think going to a supermarket and constantly hearing the same kind of music, and then in between the music is, hey, did you get your flu shot today? It is available at our pharmacy. Visit our pharmacy for a free flu shot. All of these are constant programs, and you're thinking that it's not doing anything to your conscious or doing anything to you on a subconscious level, but it's constantly programming you so that over time you're getting these things, you're engaging in this activity, and you have no idea on a conscious level what led you to it. So we have to be more aware, family. We have to be more aware of what's already been happening, all of these different diseases that have sprung up since we're talking the swine flu, we're talking so many. I don't want to say certain things or say certain words so that, you know, my channel or my platform doesn't have a flag on it. So, you know, I'm going to use certain words that, you know, I expect and trust that you all know what I'm referring to. All right. But this is important for you. This is important for your family. This is important for us all to endure what is happening and what's to come within these next few months. Okay. And again, well, again, I was about to skip ahead, but let's just stay focused on the topic at hand. Okay. We're going to get to it all. We're going to get to it all. Okay. All right. So this was very interesting amongst many other reports that I have been seeing and reading thoroughly and doing all kind of research. New COVID variants, e.g. 0.5, FL 0.1.5.1, and BA 0.2.86 are spreading. And I kept trying to figure out what were the names of these variants. Where did they come from? They're starting to name these variants after the Greek alphabet, due to stating that naming it after different countries, they want to avoid like racist comments or something like that. I don't know. And so I'm with me, when I look at numbers and words put together, letters put together, my mind automatically goes into a decoding state where I have to figure out what is the origin of this? Why are they using this specific Greek alphabet to describe these type of variants of this so-called the so-called variants of this C19 or this COVID? So I'm not going to go super deep into it because I want us to focus in on the solutions more and looking at what we can do, okay, and not getting caught up into the whole mystics of it all, even though I'm into all of that, you know. So, but we're gonna get into it. I feel like I'm on a track where I can decode it and see, okay, what's really happening? Why are these names being named after this? And all of these different variants got the nickname that it got. So we're going to jump right into it, family. All right, EG 0.5, FL 0.1.51, BA 0.2.86, variants and its correlations to deities, universal warnings, and destruction. All right, so again, I'm sitting here, I'm racking my brain, like, why are they naming these different variants after these letters and numbers? And so what I come to realize is that not only was it correlated to the Greek alphabet, but a lot of it is being nicknamed. All of these different variants are being nicknamed after Greek mythology, different Greek myth deities. Okay, so I'm sitting here, stating to myself, what is the overall message? There's always a message, family. Know that anything that goes on in the arena of the elite arena, or what we call planet Earth, is always a warning first, in the form of numbers, in the form of different letters, in the form of different codes. So we have many different master decoders that have decoded so much so that we can have a better understanding as to what's to come within the next 5, 10, 20 years. Okay, so this helps us to be better prepared for what we need to do moving forward, how to prepare our bodies for different seasons, which we're going to get into something that I call planetary fasting. Okay, fasting when the seasons change. This is the best way to protect your health when it comes to entering the colder months. Okay, different herbs that you should have more of, different foods that you should have less of. Okay, so this is very important as we move forward into the fall and winter months, September through March. All right, so let's go back to this. These variants and its correlation to deities, universal warnings and instructions. All right, why are they nicknamed as C19 variants based upon Greek mythology? What is the overall message? All right, so I found that EG.5, which is nicknamed Eris, and they nicknamed this, Eris is a name of a Greek goddess. It's a Greek mythology goddess. Now, a lot of the Greek mythology names for deities were taken out of ancient Kemet and a lot of the Hinduism culture when it comes to deities in that respect. If anyone's into that, then you'll know what I'm referring to. I definitely suggest you do more research if you're not aware of different deities and of ancient Kemet, of Hindu culture. So that's something that there's many different books on Amazon to learn about different deities and their what each one represents. Okay, but I'm just going to go into a little bit of what I found. All right, so this Greek myth goddess is representative of strife, chaos, discord. Okay, which we've seen a lot of from the last 3 years. And all of this comes from not fully being prepared of what's to come, and something that's gearing in, some kind of energy that's beginning to occur as we go into these next few months. So family, this is not to scare anyone. This is to make you aware of what is happening in the now, and also what's to happen within the next few months, to always stay alert, always be prepared when it comes to your health. Always stay up on your chlorella. That's for your hemoglobin, your red blood cells. Always constantly have these certain foods and herbs and elixirs on hand, so that you're not falling into different traps that is set for us to fall into what is called dis-ease. And what I call dis-ease is the body's way of expelling what it no longer needs, and all of the accumulation that that we've been putting into our bodies. That stuff has to come out. All right, so we have to look at diseases even when it comes to these names. Okay, because as I said, if you've been following me for a while, from the last 4 or 3 years, I've said from the beginning that disease names are just simply describing your symptoms. It's not actually describing the disease itself. And so that's why you find yourself constantly in a circle when it comes to your health, because you're treating the symptoms and not going into the root of what you need to eliminate from that specific organ, system, gland region. Okay, so EG.5, nickname Eris, goddess of chaos, discord. Okay, this can be translated to the Hindu goddess Kali. All right, Kali is a goddess that represents that big mama energy, that energy that comes for protection no matter what. And it would destroy, she would destroy anything in her path to protect her children. That's that mama energy. That's the energy that mothers, you know what I'm talking about, no matter what it is. When it comes to our babies, we will do and go through the end of earth to make sure that our children are protected. And so that energy is here, family. That energy is here. As you can see, a lot of the old systems, a lot of the old ways are falling. Okay, it's no longer in place. And so we're starting to see, if you haven't already, that energy embodying many of us, where we're starting to feel a sense of protection, not on a physical level, but on a spiritual, universal level that we have not felt before. Okay, I know I feel it. And so we have, again, going back to what is called that fear. Whatever it is, your current situation, you must not, especially during this time, because fear also disrupts the nervous system, which also disrupts your defense system. So your defenses are low. That's why people who worry a lot, who stress a lot, they have a lot of challenges when it comes to reoccurring illnesses like colds and flus and all these different things. So it's very important, family, to follow through on your own personal spiritual practices, whatever that may be to you. Okay, so that big mama energy, that's what Goddess Kali represents. That feminine power rising effect. Okay, more women now, now more than ever, we're beginning to come together. We're beginning to have this rising where the feminine energy is beginning to soar more than ever before. And when that happens, this is what creates this balance that the planet has been needing for so long. And as this resonance constantly rises within the females of the universe, and this is what the heart is about, which is what they call, they term the Schumann's resonance, named after the guy. I believe his last name is Schumann. But this is the earth's heartbeat. And so once once this begins to rise and become and grows more, and it depends on the woman, it depends on that feminine energy, that aspect, and even the men recognizing and tuning himself to his woman and his own feminine aspect within himself is what's going to help us when it comes to not just our physical health, but our emotional, spiritual, and universal health overall. Okay, because again, we're never alone. That's why when we say things we're alone, we're never alone, because we are all part of one. Okay, also divine mother protection, as we talked about, again, repeating that, being redundant with that big mama energy. Okay, will destroy anything in its path so that she can protect her children, her babies. Okay, goddess of time, or what is called, and also called something called doomsday, and then also death. Okay, so this is not, again, something to place some kind of scare tactic or anything. This is just breaking down from my perspective of what I see these variants being named after, and what this energy, what these variant names, the energy it's embodying. Okay, to prepare for that this explosion, and a lot of it has to if you see, now I'm going to go into more, as far as a lot of it is dealing with like fire. It just means destruction, build, and destroy. Okay, so there's a lot that's happening, a lot that's will be happening within the next few months, that is going to shine a light on systems constantly dwindling that we have been seeing in play for so long. And so they need your participation. This system that we are currently in only survives as long as you participate. When you are in fear, when you are engaging in entertaining these ideas of, oh my God, there's a new scare of a variant. And then they come out and say, oh, well, we're going to have the Jabberwocky by September. And actually, they stated in many news reports that the Jabberwocky will be available September 12th. So look out for that date. And when I spoke to King Simon, shout out to him, September 12th, which is a number 3 day, deals with nerves. So again, these days that they decide to release these inoculations on are no accident, because if this is a number 3 day, which deals with nerve, which deals with tension, which deals with fear, which deals with stress, this is going to move people in a direction to want to go and get it, based upon all of those weeks of constantly placing in your mind of all of these variants and how it's hard to protect against, that we don't have these cytokines in place within our own immune defense system to fight off these new variants. Especially they're saying that the BA.2.86 is the one that would be the worst and will have to be given a Greek alphabet, because that's or some kind of Greek letter, and that's will determine whether how dangerous it is or not. So again, this is just the decoding it based upon how I see it. Okay. Now the numbers are related to some type of scientific notation code, which I have not fully determined yet. I don't know if you guys remember back in math class in school, we had to do scientific notations where you do 10 and exponent is like 4 or 10. So 10 to the 4th power or whatever like that. So it's some kind of code within that. But again, I'm not going deep into the breaking down of it. I'm just giving you a little bit so that you can open your mind, and maybe you guys will find the answer and send it to me so that I can go more into it in that respect. Okay. The FL 1.5.1 is nicknamed Goddess Fornax, Divine Goddess of Baking, relation to fire. So again, something dealing with explosion, okay? Not in a physical sense, but what is about to be exploded and brought to the light, okay? And again, all of a lot of chaos comes from that. A lot of destruction comes from that. But again, it's not on a physical level. This is, again, we're in a spiritual warfare, so we have to start thinking in that way. All right, this deals with what's to come in these next few months based upon these different names and these different codings that these variants, these energies are under. All right, and then the B.A or BA 2.86 nicknamed Pyrola. Okay, which I had challenges understanding that at first, which then comes from the root word pyro again, which relates to fire. So each variant relates to that, this fiery energy. And so this is what the month of September is related to Aries, which Aries is related to fire. So again, it's something that we're going to see a big explosion on, not in the physical sense, but in a spiritual, mental sense, where we begin to see, again, systems that's been in place, things that we have believed, all burning down. And again, they need your participation so that this won't happen in a sense where there's still you whatever system that you have. If this were you would try to salvage it as long as you can. So you got to constantly have people's participation and intention to do that. So again, family, as long as you participate, this system stands in place. Okay, so we must not be in fear. We must be aware. We must, and then the more you are in protection mode, the more application of knowledge that you implement, the more confident you feel when it comes to your health on all levels, physical, emotional, and spiritual. So for those who are into deities, for those who are into this kind of study, I definitely suggest you do your due diligence to go further into understanding what these different variants mean, if there's something that you would like to study. I found it very interesting while looking at it and finding that it correlates to different ones. But now I want to get into what we came here for. But I found this to be very interesting. All right. So let's keep moving on. All right. Okay. Back to the basics. Why we get ill in the colder months based upon simple anatomy. All right. So in the summertime, you find that you're not quote unquote sick. You don't get colds or what they call colds as often as you do in the winter months. And as the late great Babalayi Africa or Dr. Lady La Africa would say, you can't catch the weather. Okay, so when we say colds, you I know when someone said they had a cold in the summertime, like, but it's not even cold outside. So these are languages again that we have picked up based upon trying to describe a process of elimination that the body is naturally doing based upon accumulation of waste. Okay, so in the summertime, you find that you're not ill as much because you have something called vasodilation, which that deals with the opening of the blood vessels. When the blood vessels are open, it has increased flow to move fluids, move mucus, move all of the different fluids like the blood, the lymph, the interstitial fluids, all of these different fluids moving through the body, which not just moves through the body without doing anything. It's moving waste and it's moving nutrition in and out constantly. And when we understand this inner working of our bodies, we will begin to take care of it better when it comes to exercising, when it comes to hydration, when it comes to getting proper sunlight, when it comes to getting the different minerals and biochemicals that we constantly need on a daily basis to keep this vessel constantly moving. Okay, so in the summertime, when it's hot, you have your open blood vessels, increased blood flow to the cells, increased body fluid, such as blood, lymph, and mucus. Okay, now when it's cold, when the weather is cold, you have something called vasoconstriction, where it's tight, it's narrow. So what happens then, you have what was once open, and even though you're eating the junk foods, you notice around end of August, September, you start to get like a little tick in the throat. You start to get more mucus, and that's because as the weather changes, the vessels start to close, and all of the junk foods that you're eating, it now accumulates and tightens. And so you start to get all of those symptoms that you didn't get in the summertime, because you have better elimination during that time than you do in the wintertime. So a slower movement of mucus, moving toxins out of the blood, the lymph, the intestinal walls, and the bowels. So this is just to give you a better understanding of why we get ill in the colder months between September and March, and not in the summertime months. Okay, very simple to understand, so that you're not thinking that you're catching something. Family, you cannot catch anything. This is based upon the body's way of eliminating what it has accumulated over a period of time. What goes in must come out, and it's going to find any kind of channel to go out through, any kind of open canal, your ears. That's why you get ringing in the ears, or ear infections, ear aches, nose, sinus issues, constantly running nose. You may have pressure in the nasal cavity where it's painful, headaches, okay, related to sinus issues, and also dealing with the colon, okay, constipation, not constipation, different discharges, whether it be in the vaginal canal for women, what else? I almost lost my train of thought. The throat, that's also the tonsils, So these are all different ways where the body has to constantly expel what it no longer can hold. Okay, so this is just giving you a simple understanding as to why this tends to happen more. This illness tends to happen more in the colder months than we do in the hot weather months. And again, this is around the colder weather months is a time when we violate our bodies the most. This is where all the holidays are back to back. You have Thanksgiving. Well, first you have Halloween, where you have all, and I put out a video last year on this where it kind of went a little viral on TikTok, where it said, this is why flu season is between October and March, because in October you're eating Halloween candy, which lowers your natural defenses against disease, because most candy have dairy, sugar, which is very detrimental to the lymphatic, to the pancreas, all of these areas which has to constantly eliminate your liver. Okay, and then you have November, which it's Thanksgiving time. People are filling their bellies up with wheat, dairy, meat, alcohol. Okay, another major factor of why we have more heart attacks around that time, while we have a lot of different flus around that time, pneumonias, what is called this RSV, respiratory, what does this stand for? Respiratory, oh God, I forgot that quick what it stands for, but it's a respiratory infection, okay? But it's not something that's infecting you from the outside. This is all happening from inside and showing you how you are violating nature's law by it extending into the outward body. You're not catching anything, family. There's nothing that you can catch that you haven't exposed yourself already to. And that's why, again and again, I have to be redundant with this when it comes to the germ theory and the terrain theory. Because the guy who created the germ theory, which is what the medical establishment is still using to this day to base viruses on, to base germs on, to base disease on. And this guy who created this theory already stated that he recanted, that it's not the germ that enters the body and causes disease. It's not this unknown bacteria or this pathogen that just you touch a computer that somebody coughed on and you just catch that disease. It's the terrain, it's the body, it's the person, it's the human being that has allowed their defenses to become low for that germ, bacteria, pathogen to begin to manifest in the body and weaken the entire avatar. That is what we need to base our foundation of health on, the terrain. It is us that lower our own defenses. Nothing outside of you does, and we cannot catch anything. Very important, family, to constantly remember that, and I have to repeat that over and over so that we can understand that, again, learning, just looking at basic anatomy and how the body is structured. The body's always towards life. The body always wants to save itself. So it's going to constantly eliminate in a form of what we are so afraid of now, because we're going to be seeing a lot of this within the next few months. Mucus. We're going to be seeing a lot of this in the next few months. Mucus, sneezing, which are all part of the body's natural way of getting rid of waste, acidic waste. So we're going to go into the next one, because I think that's where we get into the nit and grit. All right, which is what I alluded to. Mucus is not the enemy, okay? Mucus is not your enemy. It is a protection coat. All right, it's a protection coat. So when we see mucus, you know, we're at a store, someone sneezes, this is when you sneeze, this is the body's natural activation system to push out what it doesn't need, especially when it comes to dust, right? So you have these tiny little cells that line the respiratory tract called cilia. And this cilia is designed to recognize pathogens, to recognize foreign matter, foreign waste before it enters the rest of the respiratory system. So it lines the throat, it lines the trachea, it lines most of the respiratory system in that aspect. And so when you sneeze, when you cough, that's the cilia at work getting rid of it so that it does not affect the bronchioles and other aspects of the respiratory system. But so a person with asthma, their cilia is deactivated. And so all of that dust and all of that is able to penetrate and come into the respiratory system, affecting the lungs, affecting the bronchioles, affecting the alveoli. Okay, so it's so important to understand why we do the things we do and why the body is structured this way, so that you can constantly eliminate what you need to. Okay, mucus is a part of the bodily fluids adhering, sticking to surfaces of the body as a form of protection. So you have mucus, or what is called mucosal membranes, in your nasal area, okay, in your throat area, your stomach, your intestines, your urinary, all of the main or main areas of the body where it needs that protection to constantly move waste and foreign matter from the body. Okay, depending on the color and thickness of the fluids, which has a role again to expel waste, can indicate the stage of health that you're in. So a lot of people may be aware of this, as far as if the slime is yellow or it's clear or it's runny. When you get that constant like running where it's not thick, it's like water, that's called catarrh or catarrh, if I'm saying it right. That deals with inflammation. And I'm going to show you in a few slides of what that looks like in the iris, what catarrh looks like when you constantly got that runny nose. That deals with acid. So much acid in the body that it's just running. It has to come out. Okay, that's more so dealing with when a person is at that acute, subacute stage of health, where there are 4 stages of health when it comes to tissue stage. And that's acute, which is the first stage, subacute, chronic, and degenerative. Okay, then you have phlegm, which that deals more with the respiratory passages. Okay, so phlegm is that thick, yellow, greenish discharge that comes from the nose, comes from when you cough up. That deals with respiratory. And then you have mucus, where it's slimy, it's clear, discharge. What that deals with, again, elimination and excess. So yes, mucus is not the enemy, but some will come out because, again, it's eliminating when it no longer needs. And when you are expelling the mucus, you are also expelling the waste as well, because as the mucus is leaving the body, the mucus is also taking, again, adhering and sticking to waste and moving it out of the body. So when you cough it up, you sneeze it up, you poop it out, all of that waste is coming out as well. Okay. So again, just to give you an understanding that mucus is not the enemy. It is actually a divine protection. It is part of your main areas and main eliminative channels of the body. And that's your lymph, your respiratory, your colon, your skin, and your kidneys. Okay, those are the main channels of elimination, so that you can have that supreme health that we are striving for. That's what we here for, family. This is that protection. This is that preparation that we need to survive and thrive within these next few months, and even up until years to come. Okay, because we have a lot of happenings that are occurring, that so many different stories are out there. And again, it is up to you to do your own due diligence and your discernment, so that you know what's best for you and you know what's best for your family. Okay. So again, if someone sneezes around you, family, I'm not saying let them sneeze in your face, but don't, I'm encouraging you, not saying don't. I'm encouraging you to understand on an anatomical level that this is what the body is designed to do. It is the natural process of elimination of waste and acid. And that the only way you can you catch something is if that your body is already in a weakened state and perfect enough for that germ pathogen to thrive and survive in your body. Okay, there is no catching COVID. There is no catching anything. This is about your terrain, your body. How do you take care of you? You are responsible for you, family. So we have to, no one's responsible for us, and no one puts disease on us. That is our doing. So we have to do our best to keep this avatar thriving. Okay. So we're going to get into all of that as far as different foods, different herbs, different minerals that we need to maintain a strong respiratory, a strong lymphatic. All right. Let's go to the next one. Okay. So we right into it as far as looking at the iris. Again, this was called preparing a supreme health preparation using iridology. Okay. Supreme health preparation using iridology. All right. So you see, pardon me, the iris on the left, this is a blue iris. I use both. I wanted to use a blue iris and I wanted to use a brown iris. So you see how the blue iris is very white, all of those different white specks all around here. Those are all acid, inflammation in all of these different parts of the body. Now, when you see these little rings, these little dots on the end, that's part of the lymphatic. All right. So this person has a what they call weakened immune, but we're not using the word immune, weakened defense system. And you already see here, you see this open area here that this client had her tonsils removed. It was and tonsils and adenoids removed. Now, family, that is one of the worst things that you can do for yourself and your child. Your tonsils, your adenoids are filled with lymphoid tissue. Your lymphatic, it deals with your defense system, deals with the destruction of pathogens, the destruction of unwanted bacteria and waste entering the body via what you eat, your environment, your surroundings, activities, stress, fear, all of that. Okay, so when you have your tonsils have the responsibility of it acts as a net to capture all of the bacteria that is going into the body. So when you get sore throats constantly, you have to look at the diet. You have to look at what you're eating. We have to look at how your emotional health as well, your environmental health, all of that. And what I would say for those who suffer with constant sore throats, I have not seen a person who doesn't suffer from constant sore throats that doesn't eat or who doesn't suffer from chronic sore throats and they don't eat dairy. Dairy is one of the number one reasons why sore throats are reoccurring. And I encourage you, family, going into these next few months to cut down on specific foodless items that you are eating, especially fried food, dairy, certain meats. Now, I'm not advocating for you to be a vegan, which I don't even advocate that term for myself. It's plant-based, and we call it lifetarian. Also, when I go into the next few slides, I have something called planetary fasting, which I mentioned earlier. a way for you to prepare your avatar, prepare your body for the next few months. It's important to do a specific fast so that you're strengthening your cells for the next season. When you go to if anyone has ever traveled outside of the country and they get sick, or, oh, because I'm in Africa, I'm in Mexico, I got sick. No, it's not that you're there. You didn't prepare your body well enough for your new environment. And any new environment has new atmosphere, new air, you may be eating different foods over there. So it's not that that environment got you sick. Their lack of preparation is what led to the illness. So that's very important. So again, having your tonsils and adenoids removed removes that first line of defense that the body is equipped with. And now you find that people who have their tonsils removed still suffer from sore throat. So that wasn't the answer. Okay, this removal of organs is not the answer. It's getting into the root. So sore throats, again, is not a disease, it's a symptom. Symptom of what? Symptom of what you are eating and how you are violating nature. Every pain, every inflammation, every discharge is a sign to pay attention to what you are doing, how you are living. How's your emotional health on a daily basis? Do you suffer from what is called anxiety, stress, fear, worry? This is very important, family. Very important. Okay. So again, now let's look at the brown iris. You see all of these different white markings here. All white is inflammation. Inflammation acids. So, and this is the left iris. So this deals with the bladder area. Okay. Bladder and vaginal area. This is a female iris. If it was a male iris, that would deal with the testes zone. So all of this deals with inflammation in those areas. We know the bladder, part of the eliminative channels, which is the urinary system. Okay. So all of these deals with inflammation. Okay, again, this is the lungs, part of the respiratory system, dealing with inflammation, acid in that region. Okay, so again, anywhere where you see all of this white deals with acid inflammation overload. And you see here in the blue iris, it's on overload. This person will be very highly irritated when it comes to nasal congestions, throat. They'll be constantly ill a lot. Okay, and especially when it comes to the colon, you see how brown it is around the pupil, and the rest of the iris is blue. So that deals with holding on to a lot of waste in the intestines, and that's the job of the mucus. The mucus, which you have a mucosal membrane in the intestinal wall as well. So that through the action of moving the food through after digestion, moving that food through this action called peristaltic action, the mucus moves the waste particles out from the gut and out into the bowels. But if it's not able to do that effectively, it will stay right there in this area, and this is what's causing that color there. So a lot of intestinal challenges there, a lot of toxic stomach, dealing with the colon, constipation will be a thing for this client. So again, it's looking at your iris so that you can prepare for supreme health. You're not guessing on what you need. You're not guessing on what to do. You know exactly what you need to do based upon your internal blueprint. You came here with a map. Yet, most of us do not utilize that map. It's like going and setting out to go to a whole new area. You're going somewhere. You're going to put on your GPS, right? You're going to put on the GPS so that you know where you're going. but you have the keys to know where you're going with your health. And we use Iridology as that GPS, that blueprint map to see where you are going when it comes to your internal health. All right. So I wanted to share that with you, family. See this iris here again, another blue iris. Now, again, when I look at irises, I can tell the original color of your iris when you were a baby, when you were a child. You see how pale blue this iris is, okay? So again, this is another iris dealing with extreme acidosis, okay? Now, looking at this iris, I see I'm gonna make sure that this looks more like the right iris. I want to say I should have labeled it. I usually do. Okay, but either or, all of these areas of where it's white. That's what we're focusing on, not really going into diagnosing the iris, but pointing out these white markers, acidosis. These are all signs and indication of extreme acidosis, which correlates to a weakened immune defense lymphatic system. If the eliminative channels are not able to excrete the waste and acids that it needs to, this leads to your flus, your pneumonias, your quote unquote RSVs, respiratory infections, because it's going to find somewhere to hide and to manifest, especially where your weaker areas are in your body already. Everyone comes to Earth. Everyone comes here with inherent weaknesses, which means that whatever your parents or your parents' parents or aunt, uncle, grandma has suffered through in their lifetime, when you're born, your iris automatically reveals those potential weaknesses that you can go through based upon how you live. So that doesn't mean that you're automatically destined for the same disease that grandma had, but it shows that you have that same inherent potential challenge, and that if you live that same way, eat the same foods, use the same products, and have the same paradigm, then you can fall under that line of disease as well. All right. So that's just showing you again those white markings, acidosis, weakened lymphatic. Here, if this is a left iris, this is where the white markings would be in the lung areas. I really believe this is a right iris because I see the cutoff here. So then here, this would be the if it was a right iris, the lungs would be here. But again, we're not worried about diagnosing. We're looking at, pardon me, we're looking at the white markers here. So if your iris reveals that, then I know exactly what you need to focus on. And again, where those white markings are in the iris will show which eliminative channel is blocked. And again, those channels need to be open in order for you to have that strong defense system, not immunity, not immunity. And again, in the words of Baba Dr. Phil Valentine, immunity is a law term. It's not a health term. So it began to find its way in the medical terms, maybe within the last, I'm not even sure, maybe the last 50 to 100 years. I haven't really looked into how long we've been using immunity in medical, Western medicine history. So that's important to think about as well. Okay, we're not immune to anything. If I was to give you an herb and say, you're immune for life, you'll go back and we'll begin to eat what we love, what we think we love to eat. Foods that have been given to us, that's been presented to us, that we feel like we love to eat. And so we will feel like, okay, I got this now, I'm fine, I'm protected. So there is no immunity. It's constantly, the body is defending itself. In the moment that you go back into eating certain foods that you stayed away from for so long, all of those symptoms will reappear. Okay. All right. I don't even know how long we've been recording. I think we're over almost at the hour mark. I think we're almost always at the hour mark. Okay. So we're almost done. I think this is my last slide. All right, y'all. Hydration, herbal healing, planetary fasting, and nutrition for self-defense. Okay. So this is, again, planetary fasting is something that I started about 2 to 3 years ago, where every fall between September 1st and September 14th, starting between those dates, if you start September 1st or if you start September 14th, but it has to be started between that time, where you're fasting for at least a minimum of 7 days, 7 to 14 days. Okay, different kind of fast you can do. It's not just about water fasting or fruit juice fasting, but as long as you're eating raw, you're not eating cooked food, you're not frying, you're not eating dairy, you're not eating meat, butter, wheat, pastas, all of that constantly weakens your defense system. Okay, so then you're having specific herbs, you're having chlorella, you're having elderflower and elderberries, all of these different herbs and foods and fruits that builds up the cell so that it can protect itself. You have literally a whole army inside of your body ready and willing and able to fight for you. And that army, it has specific names like phagocyte, monocyte, eosinophils, basophils, neutrophils. It has so many different names ready and at alert to defend for you. I just named some white blood cells. Okay, so that's very important to know that you have these important cells at your defense, ready and willing and able to defend you at any given time. Creator did not put you here to suffer from some incurable disease that there's no protection against. You can't protect yourself against it. Why would Creator create itself with it, which is we are created in the likeness of the Creator, create a problem which you have no solution to, no sense at all. All right, so we have to stop creating compartments of defenselessness, compartments that where we don't have a way out, because there's always a way out of a challenge, always. Okay, know that, family. So cayenne, okay, we're first hydration, herbal healing, planetary fasting, and nutrition for self-defense. Cayenne, okay, please get you some cayenne from the health food store. You can get it in capsule form. You can get it in tincture form. We're at solutions now, by the way, y'all family. So this is definitely the part that you want to take notes on, okay? All right, so you want to get you some cayenne to add to your fruits, hot water with lemon or lime, your teas, again, tincture or capsule form. For those who have challenges with blood pressure, what I find is that if you put it underneath, you put a little cayenne underneath the tongue, and you have a headache due to high blood pressure, it'll help bring that headache right on down. Okay, so you want to measure the amount of a 1/4 teaspoon each time you are consuming, or whatever the label says of the tincture or the capsule bottle that you're investing in your cayenne in. And so you don't want to overconsume this spice, as it can frustrate the mucous membranes. Okay, it's a very powerful spice. All right, that we use it in times of a necessity. And this season, every season when we go into colder months calls for that. Okay, so get you some cayenne. all right, in a powdered form, again, tincture form, capsule form, however you want to consume it. Nitric oxide, okay, which you can find in beet powder. You'll find that in beet powder. You'll find that in beets. So if you like eating beets, I love juicing beets, which I juice my beets with bok choy. Bok choy is also a vegetable, very high in nitric oxide. Nitric oxide helps with more blood flow, opening up the blood vessels as well. So you want to also eat foods and berries and vegetables that's high in nitric oxide. Okay. But definitely that beet powder is very, very, very powerful. All your citrus fruits, your oranges, your grapefruits, your lemons, your limes. And family, I want you to save the peels. Save the peels of your oranges, your grapefruits, your limes, your lemons. Don't throw them away. You can dry them. And when you dry, if you have a dehydrator, I have a dehydrator. If you have a dehydrator, you could dehydrate the orange peels, crush it, pulverize it into a powder, crush it into a powder, and you can use that as part of a powder for juices, for smoothies, and that there's a lot of vitamin C in the peel of the citrus fruit than in the fruit, the flesh itself. So don't throw away those peels, family. And also, I have a technique that I'm going to be sharing with you all before we end this. So definitely it involves saving the peels. All right. And then the Juice Plus. Okay. If you've heard me talk about this many a times, the Juice Plus, which is the raw food nutrition, has all that I am referring to as far as the berries, the green leafy vegetables, all your fruits to move the lymph, to keep the lymph moving. That's what the body constantly needs, movement. Okay, so if you would like to invest in a Juice Plus, my link tree is Linktree / Holistic Healer, and you'll see all of my links on there. And the link is called Whole Food Nutrition Capsules. You can also email me, which all of the handles will be at in the end of the video and the description of the video. info@holisticapalace.com is my email to get in contact with me to invest in your Juice Plus. Very important, family. All right, because that's where all your berries are. We have the raw berry capsules where it has the elderberry, the bilberry, the raspberry, blueberry, which blueberry is also a very high in nitric oxide. Okay, all your dark melanated fruits. Okay, herbs such as plantain, horehound, mullein, elderflower, lungwort, nettle, eucalyptus, thyme, and also astragalus are excellent for respiratory and lymphatic protection. And you'll find all of this in my respiratory support herbal blend on my website. Okay, and again, that's under my links. When you go on this video, go in the description, all of my links will be there. All right, family. So again, all of the herbs that I mentioned are good for as expectorants, where it helps for you to release waste from the respiratory passages, and then also astragalus and elderflower, all of that works on the lymphatic movement. Okay, but astragalus, one thing I'll say about that one that's very important to have, whether it's I have the astragalus root powder on my website in a powder form. Okay, so you add that to you can add that to soups, you can add that to smoothies, to juices. It's very powerful. I call it my military herb because it helps to increase white blood cell and strengthen the blood cells so that it can defend and militarize and do its job. Okay, also very good for those who were on chemo, have chemotherapy. It helps to gain your energy back from chemo and radiation, helps with the appendix, helps with fatigue after chemo, and increases the appetite after having chemo and radiation. So it's that herb, astragalus root, very, very powerful for the lymphatic immune defense system. Okay. Hydration and oxygenation with raw fruits and fruit juices. Okay. So again, there's many different levels to fasting. It's not just about juicing. You can eat the raw fruits as well, but the key is to not have any cooked food during the time where you are detoxing and planetary fasting. Chlorella, okay, which is for your red blood cells, your oxygenation, okay, very, very powerful for those who have iron issues going into these next few months. If you live on the side of the world where I live on the East Coast, winter, is very cold, and those who have iron issues, they tend to have, of course, more colder, more miserable. I went to the next one. It's fine. More miserable than those who don't have that challenge. So you want to definitely get you crack cell wall chlorella, which I have that on my website. Crack cell wall is the best because that is the chlorella that can actually penetrate the cell to actually work. Okay, so that is more easily digestible. All right, so chlorella, it's a green sea algae, very, very good for increasing red blood cell count, and also for challenges with iron, increasing your iron and maintaining your iron levels, maintaining oxygen. That's the key. It's also going to work on respiratory as well. All right. Now, breathing exercises for respiratory protection. All right. I've done this for the last, I would say for the last 3 years. Very effective. Very effective. All right. So what you want to do, I'm going to read it off. You want to get you a large size pot, fill the pot with spring water. Okay. Fill the pot with spring water. So you want to add peels from 5 oranges or grapefruit. You can also add lemon peels as well. Okay. A handful of aniseed. They like them little stars. Those are excellent for protection of the immune defense system, lymphatic system. It has a certain component, which I'm gonna, I know it has, aniseed has a certain component. If I could find it, because I have it in my notes. Star aniseed. If I can't find it, it's all good. Yeah. Yeah, it was, I can't think of it right now. But star aniseed is very, very powerful for lymphatic, respiratory, also paired with clove as well, which I have clove on the list. Also 5 to 8 drops of each oil from Young Living. I definitely suggest Young Living oils. Young Living is a company that has the most purest essential oils out there. And that is eucalyptus and peppermint essential oil. So 5 to 8 drops of each in the pot. White camphor blocks. You can find that at online on Amazon or at like a local botanica store. They have those. White camphor blocks. Okay, about 2 or 3 of them. Very strong. You may only need 1. Ginger and clove. Okay, use your own assessment to throw in what you how much you would like to put in. I like to use the clove, the whole clove, not the ground. So I put like a handful of that in there. And for ginger, if it's like a nice size piece like this, I'll crush it up, hammer it, and I'll put it in the pot. I'll put a few pieces of those in the pot so it could be strong. Okay. You want to bring this all to a boil. Now, you don't start the breathing exercises until you see the steam. Okay, until you see the steam. Once you see the steam, you place your face over the pot and you begin to do your breathing exercises. Okay, inhale the steam. Okay, hold for 9 seconds, and then you release. Exhale. Okay, and you keep doing this for about 5 times, or as many times as you can, to keep the, you don't drink the solution, because a lot of stuff can be coming out into the water as well. A lot of discharge, as far as mucus discharge, can be coming out. So you don't want to drink that as a tea after. You want to make a separate cup of tea. But that's an excellent way for protection of respiratory, also the breathing, because that's what all of this is affecting when it comes to having the flu and this respiratory infection and what is called C19. And you notice that a lot of the symptoms for each variant mirrors the same: sore throat, runny nose, fever, headache. It's all the same, because it's all describing symptoms of the process of divine elimination that the body must go through. So we must not fear mucus. We must not fear the elimination process. This is all part of the body getting rid of waste and accumulated acid. All right. So I trust you. You can also screenshot this if you haven't already. I believe this is my last slide. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. All right. So woo, I'm not gonna lie, family. It was I think we passed the hour mark. As you can see, my eyes, I'm like, but I had a really amazing time sharing this with you all. I trust that you begin to act upon the information rather than just watching it and being in awe, or whatever it is, how you're going to take it, because action is key. All right, especially again during the planetary change, planetary fasting. We have to eliminate certain foods that we ate in the summer, okay, and not eat and bring that into the colder months. Okay, now whatever diet that you lead, again, I'm not here to change anyone, but I would never say that it is okay to have any form of dairy. Okay, there's some of my clients that continue to eat meat, and if it works for them, hey, okay. Everything is about balance. Is when we overdo something is what causes all of what you call, or what we call, or deem disease. Okay, so it's very important during these next few months to begin to eat lighter. And when you're going to need to eat lighter, because you start to feel heavy. You start to feel heavy all over. The body feels heavy. Your mind is foggy. You're not able to think straight. So it's important to begin to eat lighter and eat less of cooked foods or overly cooked foods, fried foods during this time. So the planetary fasting, I would suggest starting between September 1st and September 14th. I usually do a group planetary fast where I send out a list of things that you need and how to do it. I might do that starting September 14th, where it would be a 7-day thing and we have a private group. I'm not sure yet. I'll see how that goes. But yeah, let me know in the comments if that's something that you want to participate in. When I did it for the last 2 years, I've done it in 2020 and 2021. I had a considerable amount of people that joined. And what we did, I sent them a list of fruits and vegetables that they needed. I sent them juice recipes. The only thing we didn't have like a group. So what I would do, I would have a group. You could chime in how you feeling on your first day, how give different ideas of what you're doing, so that other people may do it as well. So we may do that again, family. We may start that up, because I do it every year between that time. Every year between that time, and maybe a little earlier, to get my body prepared for the winter cold months. All right. So I want to thank y'all for, if you watch this entire video, I want to thank you for staying this long and watching this information. Please share this information. Very important. Like the video and please subscribe. I want to get to that 1K so I can start going live on YouTube. Also, if you are interested in iridology, getting your iridology examination for you or your children, you can go on my website, www.holisticalove.com. Children automatically have a discounted rate, which you'll go on my website, you'll see that. All my herbal blends and herbal detoxes are on my website as well, including my lymphatic purification package, which I definitely suggest during this time. My respiratory package, astragalus, chlorella, all of the different herbs that I mentioned are on my website. Also, I have my children's defense kit, which is definitely something that you need for your children to protect them against like sore throats, colds, all of that. It's tinctures for children that I've created myself for the last 3 years. It has helped many families to be the doctor of their own children. That's what it's about. All right, family. Thank you so much for your beautiful attention. I really appreciate you. Again, preparation for supreme health with iridology. I'm signing out, y'all. Peace and love. Power.